Oh, the kitties. I'm being very feisty a minute ago. All right, so I have a new screen protector on my iPhone, and it's really hard to see what's going on. All right, YouTube looks fine. I got that, but that could be a problem. All right, so anyway, hi. Good morning. Happy Saturday. So just kind of mixing in a little bit more movement into the poses. And that's not that we're not going to hold poses because, just what we do. But we're going to flow between them a little bit more than maybe normal. So just remember to bump it up if you need to bump it up, bump it back down if you need to bump it back down, right? You can always drop knees, you can always take a child's pose. Definitely use props if you need to use a prop. It's not a crutch. I've said this before, but it's been a while. It's not a crutch, it's a tool, right? So if there's a pose you can't get into unless you use a strap or unless you use a block, right? Then you can't access it. But if you use the prop, there you are, right? You're in it. So rather than thinking of it as like, I don't need blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, you can get way deeper into a pose if you use props sometimes. So don't beat yourself up about that. It's dumb. So, I'm starting standing, obviously, here. Bringing the feet up underneath the hip bones. Check in that your toes point forward. Let your feet spread nice and wide so you feel very, very firm and solid on your foundation. Imagine pressing down into the floor to activate the legs. Little tuck at the tailbone, always looking to keep that lower back nice and long and the belly engaged. Lower belly in and up, tall through the sides. Relax through your shoulders. Let your arms feel heavy, so maybe your shoulders drop away from your ears a little bit more. And that always feels nice. You can do palms forward if you like. It's a nice little extra stretch as well. Crown of the head to the ceiling. Stand extra tall. Close your eyes. And just be here for a moment. Taking a little inventory. Noticing your breath. Breathing all through the nose. Let's let that breath expand. Coming to that place that's just beyond comfortable. And then maintaining that breath no matter what else is or isn't happening. Again, we're going to do a lot of more flow. So we'll be moving on an inhale, doing something different on the exhale. And it's a little bit easier to be aware of it then. But we want to stay aware of it no matter what pose you're in. Adding in movement then with the next inhale, take the arms and stretch into the ceiling. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Exhale, bring them back down again. And let your arms reflect your breath. Up again. And down. Once more. Come on back to the top. When you get there, you can interlace your fingers, rotate your palms toward the ceiling if you like. Exhale, tip yourself to the right. Inhale, come back to the middle. And then over to the left, exhaling. And inhaling center. We want to move side to side like that. As you tip, try and keep the lower body as steady as you can. And both sides of the body long. We're going to go once more on each side, so get in there as good as it's going to get for now. And when you're back to center, exhale, releasing the arms. Maybe roll your shoulders a little bit here. And then still standing nice and tall, let's go ahead and take the arms out to the sides, parallel to the floor-ish, right? Take the right hand forward, reach the left hand back, and let all the things happen, right? The right knee bend, the left hip drop back, let all that happen. See how far back there you can see. And then come on back to the middle, swing around to your second side. Come on back to the middle, release your arms, maybe roll your shoulders. Steady the lower body, and then leave it there. So don't worry about how deep in the twist you are. The feet are even, the knees are the same, the hips are square to the top of the mat. Extend the arms again. Reach the right hand forward and the left hand back. So the temptation is really strong just to let that left hip drop back, but try not to. Right? And then use your arms and see if you can help keep the hips square. So take the right hand over to the left hip, reach the left hand behind the back over to the right hip. And then see if you can gently square up your hips a little bit at the same time as the upper body rotates into that twist. And it's not big and giant, don't worry about it. I mean, maybe it is for you, but don't worry if it's not. Still look over your shoulder and see what you can see. Releasing back to the center again. And switching sides, left hand forward and right hand back. Same idea, that right hip wants to drop. So use your hips as much as you can, and then use your arms. Wrap them around the body. And see about drawing yourself a little bit deeper. Standing really tall. And releasing the arms, rolling your shoulders. Hands to the thighs here. With the breath, on the exhale, come on over into a half fold kind of place. Inhale, bend into the knees and roll back up again. So forward over, exhaling, rounding back up. Take a few flows like that, getting your hamstrings awake, moving through the spine a little bit more. Let's do that one more time. And then come on over into the half fold and hold. Lean on the legs as much as you need to lean here. We want to keep the shoulders back, the belly in, the hips over the ankles. So if this is a full fold for you, you're done. If you feel like you need to press into your thighs to hold your upper body up, fine. With the breath here, inhale where you are, and exhale if you can, and see if you can move into that fold a little deeper. Doesn't have to be big. Inhale, come into your halfway place again, and then exhale a little bit deeper yet. And maybe it's just this micro difference in the folds. Let it be, it's fine. Any improvement is still improvement, right? Take one more flow and move into whatever your full fold is. The hands can stay up on the thighs, they can move to your shins as long as your shoulders don't drop back. Don't drop down, I guess, would be where the floor sagging, you rallying, you know what I mean, right? From our fold, let's go ahead and step the right foot back into a lunge. Far back as you can. You can definitely drop the back knee if you want to. We're just going to roll around into the hips. So side to side, maybe a little bit forward and back. And think about where your spine is, right? Sometimes reaching for the floor makes the upper back round. If you need to use props, use props. Keeping the spine as neutral as you can. And then we're going to find the middle. So that idea of pulling the legs toward each other will square up the hips. We're just going to hold here. So really make it like a ton of work. Pressing down into your feet, pulling those legs toward each other. Doesn't look like you're doing anything, but you should feel the legs working. And then press off your back toes, step forward into the fold again. So working the second side, left foot back. Big, big, big step. Drop the knee if you need to drop the knee. Cushion that knee if you need to cushion the knee. And then roll around into the hips. Think about what your back is doing while you're there. And sometimes it'll round a little bit if you're wiggling in a certain direction. But remember that neutral place is usually where you want to be. And then finding that center idea. Pressing down into the feet, pulling those legs together, make them work. And then step forward into your fold again. From here, let's go ahead and step both feet back and make our way to a down dog. Just like with the lunge, go ahead and wiggle. As you settle in, think about the four corners of your hands, like we talked about, the four corners of the feet earlier. Push down and away from the floor. So the hips feel like they're lifting higher, but then they sink into the heels, so the backs of the legs are getting longer, reaching back down. With the breath here, on an inhale, we're going to slide forward into a plank. Take the knees if you need the knees. Exhale, move back into your down dog. So just forward and back like that. Seemingly very simple, but it can be a lot of work. Make sure the belly doesn't sag. Keeping the shoulders neutral on the back. And again, from the knees if you need the knees. So we're going to do one more of those. Moving forward. And then back again. When you're back into your down dog, go ahead and drop to the knees and take child's pose. And just like with every pose, and especially at the very beginning of a class, wiggle until it's more comfortable, right? Kind of scoot in a little bit, open the knees maybe, prop here if you want to prop here. And then, again, we're going to add on, right? Because that was just too simple. Move back to down dog. And remember, you can hold, you can just stick with what we were doing. You can drop down to the knees and go back and forth from child's pose to a kneeling plank. All of the things, right? Maybe lift the right leg. Keep those toes lifted. Shift forward into a three-legged plank and back. Release your right foot. Switch to the left, lifting the left leg. Use the belly. Shift forward and back. Remember, the leg doesn't have to lift high. It's not a big deal. Drop the left toes. Drop down into child's pose. So you get the idea, right? We're going to work one side. And then coming back to the middle again. One more time. Draw those knees into the chest. Give it a little rock. And then a really big squeeze. Release the squeeze and take a full body stretch. And then release the stretch and find Shavasana. And just remember to check in that you're aligned. Make sure you feel comfortable. So if the feet flat to the floor is better. If you need a prop. If you want legs up the wall. Any of the things that make your body where it wants to be right now. And then when you find that place, relax. Release the muscles. Release control of your breath. Keeping the mind quiet. Allowing yourself to rest for just a few minutes. Body and mind. Staying longer in Shavasana if you like. If and when you're ready. Restoring small movements to the body. Gradually deepening the breath. And gently making your way back up to a seated position. Sitting well, bringing the palms to touch, and bowing to the leg within. Namaste. All right, made it. All right, thanks for practicing with me. Have a great weekend. Stay cool. We are hitting 100 here this week. Like real temperature, not the feels like thing. I'm so ready for fall. All right, y'all. I will see you next week. I think, yeah. Definitely holler if you have questions, suggestions, poses you want to see, poses you never want to see again. And have a good one. Bye, Ty.